One of the most powerful words that I know is yet. How can such a small word make such a big difference for both children and adults? Today, we're talking about growth mindset and how that can make a huge difference in your child's life with easy strategies and language. Welcome to Beyond the Classroom. I'm your host, Kathy Thompson. My first guest today is Cheryl Vrkljan. Cheryl is the owner of Beyond the Classroom, Milton and Flamborough, which includes Waterdown, Dundas, and Ancaster. She's an Ontario certified teacher in the primary and junior divisions with a master's degree in health promotion and a passion for physical activity and nature. She is also a coach, an advocate for children's sport and wellness, an educational speaker, a volunteer in her community, and the founder of an awesome summer camp for kids in Halton called Create You. Most importantly, Cheryl is the mom of 3 young children who we're actually going to speak to later in the show. So welcome, Cheryl.
Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. So we're talking about growth mindset today, and it's a relatively new term that's come about in the last, 5-10 years. And there are a lot more products and services and different things related to growth mindset. So let's really take it back. And so can you tell me what actually is growth mindset?
Sure, yeah. And actually, the irony is that the growth mindset has been around for years. It's actually been really well researched for 30, 40 years, but it's just sort of coming about now, which is nice because it makes a huge difference for kids in learning. So essentially, it's your mindset towards learning. So it's your underlying beliefs, your attitudes, and the understanding that everybody, no matter what their circumstances, can learn and grow and achieve.
Yeah, right. And so why is it important? Like, why would parents care to really think about this and look at ways to incorporate it into their daily life?
You know what, maybe just I should start at a more basic point. So I'll talk about that, but I think it's really important to distinguish between 2 different kinds of mindsets first. So the growth mindset is sort of the new buzzword and the one that we are sort of striving to go towards. However, a more classic mindset is those who have a fixed mindset. So there's 2 types of mindset, growth mindset and fixed mindset. And essentially, we all carry some of both. So none of us are perfect. A growth mindset is the way that I would recommend going towards for yourself, for your kids. But a fixed mindset is essentially the belief that what you were born with is what you've got. So your natural intelligence, your abilities, there might be some really skilled kids and some very intelligent children and adults. However, the fixed mindset is believing that that's what you're born with, that's what you get. And so that's great if you're naturally intelligent and you've got lots of skills and abilities. However, if you feel that you don't, a fixed mindset can be really detrimental towards, especially for kids in learning. But for adults, all the same. It's really talking about everyone. So a fixed mindset is really a problem because sometimes children, if they believe that they're only as smart as they were given at birth, or only as smart as perhaps they've learned from their parents or their peers, then they're going to believe that they're never able to grow or get better or actually make achievements in the same way as other kids. So it's a really important thing for multiple reasons, but especially for kids with special needs, like kids that suffer from ADHD and other issues, they really get down on themselves. And so when they're stuck with this fixed mindset of I'm stupid or I can't learn, it's a real problem going forward because they'll form that belief over the years and it carries with them for a long time. So as a parent or an educator, it's really important to encourage kids to understand that they can grow, they can learn, regardless of what they were given at birth, regardless of what other people tell them or anything else. So.
Yeah, that's a really good distinction, really taking it back. And I didn't realize, this research around the growth mindset is 30, 40 years, let's say 5-10 years. But, obviously.
And it really has become popular over the last few years because there's been so many issues with kids coming up with their learning. Like there's a lot more kids on IEPs, so individual plans for education. And there's a lot more individualized learning happening because people are understanding not just about learning issues, but that kids have a very fixed mindset and a belief about what they're able to achieve, which in fact is not true.
Yeah.
So the researcher Carol Dweck, I don't know if people are familiar or not, I've become a lot more familiar over the years, but Carol Dweck's been researching this for years with kids. And honestly, I could tell you about all the research, but the most important thing is that it's very, teaching a growth mindset to children is very connected to their achievement. And achievement comes in many forms. It's not only winning the gold medal. It's not only getting your 98% on your physics test. It's the process of success along the way.
Yeah, that's a really great distinction, right? It's not that, everybody has to achieve 98% on their physics test or get the gold medal. It is a process thing. And so what would you say are some easy ways parents can foster that growth mindset in their kids? And, even in everyday life, but then also at this learning at home and school, we come with our baggage, right? We're like, let's do math, and I learned it this way, and so
right. And absolutely, how many times I bet you parents across the province and the world have heard their kids say things like, I'm so stupid, I just don't get it. Or like, I'm just no good at math. Those are the key points where you can start as a parent intervening to say, no, you can be good at math. You know what? You just haven't got it yet. Let's try another strategy. So there's many ways of going about this. Essentially, I'll give you like some quick points. Honestly, be aware of your own mindset as a parent. So that's the first key, because we're always worried about our kids and, what are our kids doing and how are we going to encourage them to pick it up when they fail? But honestly, if you think about it yourself, there are points in the day where you're going to go, face resistance or get angry or frustrated. And those are the key points where you go, okay, where's my mindset at? What do I believe about this? And how can I change that for myself? So I'd say that's the first key point. Language is hugely, hugely important with growth mindset. So language means everything. The way you speak to yourself, the way you speak to your children really matters. So it's small tweaks in language, like instead of letting them go, I'm no good at math. And you go, yeah, maybe you're not, maybe math's not your thing, honey. We're not all as strong in math. However, instead of saying, yeah, maybe math's not your thing, and then giving that little piece of luggage for them to carry through their life, maybe you could say, you know what, let's try it from this way. And then maybe we'll work on it a little more successfully. Or like, you know what, you just haven't got it yet. Giving them that little piece of hope is really important. So I'd say choose your words carefully. Also, on the converse of that, and just a really important point is stop saying to your kids, you are so smart. Okay. And I don't mean that's not a bad thing to tell your child they're smart. I don't mean it in that way. It's not a horrible thing to say you're very smart, because perhaps they are, but you also don't want to put them in a box of thinking, oh, I got this is it. And then they don't expand their little world of trying, right? I think the important piece is to encourage them to continue to grow. So that's the second piece. Using the word yet, as I've already mentioned, is really, really important in terms of giving them hope for success. And then honestly, the last key piece for me that I believe is really teaching them about how their brain works. So if you don't know how your brain works, that's the first step, I think, is to take a look and understand what happens in there on a very basic level. And I mean, when I say how your brain works, that the brain is capable of changing and learning along the way. Because most people think, ooh, I'm either really smart or I'm not. And that's it. But your brain is very elastic. And I don't mean literally elastic, but a lot, it's very capable of changing and forming your neural pathways that can help you grow and learn.
Wow. And you did a Lunch and Learn series a little while back for Beyond the Classroom, just on the power of a growth mindset and how important it is. And I remember one of your episodes, so to speak, was about the way the brain works. And I thought that was really cool. And I thought, yeah, of course. And so, I'd encourage parents to visit beyondtheclassroom.ca and look under parent resources, because your Lunch and Learns the videos are still there, and they have awesome tips to really expand on what you shared with us today.
Thank you. Yes. Like a super easy way is to describe the brain as a muscle, right? I know it's not a muscle, but for kids, if you tell them your brain is like a muscle, when you work it out, you can get bigger and you can learn.
That is awesome. Well, I'm really excited to speak with your kids, and obviously we'll see how that goes, and talk to them about school and how things are going and a growth mindset. And I know you've provided me with some great resources that I'm going to put on the website to share with parents some different books and videos and things like that. So I just wanted to say thanks so much for joining me, Cheryl. And
Thank you for having me. This is great.
you're welcome. Right. Hi, guys. Welcome to the show. I'm so excited to have you here. These are Cheryl's 3 kids, Ellie, Carson, and Marcus. So I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about them. Ellie is in SK, and she does dancing. She plays tennis and loves to play with her dolls. Carson in the back there is in grade 2. He plays hockey, loves to play outside, and Minecraft for inside activity. And then the oldest is Marcus, and he's in grade 6, and he likes sports, which are hockey and basketball. And of course, being social with friends, because that's what you do when you're a preteen. So thanks so much for being on the show, guys. So I'm going to start with you, Marcus. So how are you feeling about not being able to go to school?
I really miss it. I just miss being social with any other people. Like, it's not normal for just to be learning on the computer all day long. I gotta see some other people.
Yeah, you know what? My son is the exact same. He's so social, just like you. And so it is a struggle, isn't it? And does your teacher give you, Marcus, does your teacher give you opportunities to connect with your other friends at school?
Yeah, sometimes twice a week. We'll go on a big class call, and we'll just talk about like what we've been doing, share any new books we're reading, all that stuff.
Oh, that's good. So at least you get a little bit of time. And
Yeah.
so, Carson, what is it like to learn on the computer? So you obviously are computer savvy, you play Minecraft, but is it hard for you to learn on the computer?
I mean, it's different, but I'd rather see my teacher or my friends do it there. That's cool.
Yeah. And so some other children that I've talked to on this show have told me that they get to play more games with online school. Does your teacher send you games for activities?
Not really.
No? Oh, no. That's too bad. Does your mom give you extra work, Carson?
Well, it's okay.
Yeah, okay. All right, Ellie, you're up. So, Ellie, tell me, what are some of the fun things that you are doing while you're not going to school, but you're having at home school? Like, what are the fun activities that you're doing at home?
Well, sometimes I'm dancing, sometimes like I'm watching TV and jumping in the pool.
Oh, that's awesome. And so, do you take swimming lessons? I guess you usually do.
Yeah, but we can't right now.
No, you can't right now. But you're probably a strong swimmer by now. And so, Ellie, does your teacher send home stuff from school for you to do, like work?
No.
Oh, just on your own? Yeah. And do you like reading books?
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. Okay, that's great. And so, let's see, Marcus, if you were going to tell kids about one other cool activity that they could do while learning at home, what would that be?
One other thing. Probably just like take some breaks. Don't go like all out, like stressing about all of it. Just take breaks, go outside, play around for a little bit, come back in, focus, and get down to work.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice. Like taking a break, running around the yard, hugging a tree, whatever you got to do out there. And then, I did see a picture of some giant popsicles. Would that be one cool activity that you could recommend?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Great. And then Carson, so what do you think? What would be an activity you would say, oh, other kids, you got to do this?
Well, if you play sports and you're doing your work, maybe, I don't know, every 30 minutes you could go outside, practice your basketball, hockey, football, stuff like that. But about 10 minutes, come back in.
That's a great idea. And so do you practice sports then with Marcus or Ellie?
Yeah, sometimes.
Oh, that's good. And so Ellie, you like to dance. What kind of dancing do you do? What's the dance?
I mostly do ballet and tap.
Oh, Whoa, ballet and tap, that's cool. And do you have tap shoes?
What? Yeah.
Yeah, tap shoes at home. Is that the kind of dancing that you practice at home?
Well, sometimes.
Sometimes in the kitchen? Tap? That's awesome.
She has online classes every now and then. Her dance teacher like sets it up with her dance crew, so that's pretty cool for her.
That is awesome. That's great. Everyone's being so creative with lessons and different ways to connect with you guys. I just wanted to thank you so much for being on the show. And I'm so excited to see you guys and just hear about all the great things that you're doing. So hopefully I'll see you soon.
Hope so.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.
My final guest today is Avalon Harris. Avalon is a certified music therapist who has followed her passion for music most of her life. Starting with classical voice lessons as a young girl, she went on to earn an honors Bachelor of Music Therapy from Wilfrid Laurier University in 2014. Avalon's clinical and teaching experience covers a range of ages and settings, from children with developmental delays to adults in long-term care. In addition to her clinical work, Avalon manages Sing It Girls, a group vocal program in Hamilton, and has been enthusiastically facilitating the program for over 4 years. So welcome, Avalon.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm so interested to get your perspective as a music therapist and having run and facilitated Sing It Girls for all these years on the topic of growth mindset. So let's see. Can you tell me why you feel it's important for children and adults to both have that growth mindset?
Yeah. I really think that it's important because, especially in the way that it allows us to approach new things and approach challenges, having a growth mindset kind of gives you the feeling that you have control over your abilities rather than they're just innate. So, for example, if you try something really hard and fail and you feel like it's just who you are, it's like very discouraging. You don't really want to try again. It says something about your character. Whereas if you've got a growth mindset, it's just, okay, well, I failed that, but I can try again. I can shift my approach and I can still have a successful experience. So just all in about the way that you're approaching challenges, I think, is the big thing for me.
Okay, and so like you yourself personally adopting a growth mindset, so you have a challenge. So how would you do that? How would you handle that?
I think there are a lot of different ways that you can do that. I would probably take a pause and just kind of reevaluate, looking at how I approached it in the first place and what kind of new strategies I can implement. I'm always one I'm very comfortable asking for help. So definitely learning to ask for help, which is a really hard thing for a lot of people. So looking around in your circles at who can give you some advice, and then reapproaching it as many times as you need to with the growth mindset.
Yeah, that makes total sense. And so what I learned from my last guest, Cheryl, she was talking about the fact that the growth mindset research has been around for a very long time. I didn't realize, 30, 40 years. Can you tell me a little bit more about the research behind the growth mindset?
Yeah, I think the term was coined by Cheryl, and she's got some cool TED Talks and things as well. And it looks like growth mindset, it starts to actually be noticeable in kids as early as age 3 and 4, which is really young to have this idea of whether you are good at something or bad at something, because it's so early on and you can still improve. But the really cool thing that I was reading about is that it's never too late to develop a growth mindset. So no matter how old you are, you can still kind of practice that. And even in teen years, that's a really good opportunity to start introducing that idea. Because in adolescence, we have a lot of neuroplasticity. Using those concepts, if you haven't already, it's not too late now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that message, that key message, it's not too late. We can develop those neural pathways for sure. And so my next question relates to music because you're a certified music therapist and a music teacher. And so I'm wondering about the relationship between growth mindset when you're teaching music or in your music therapy practice, like how you use it, how the two intermingle, because I know music really has an impact on our brains as well.
Yeah, for sure. So I think that we often talk about it in terms of academics, but growth mindset can apply to anything. Like it can apply to the way that you approach work, the way that you approach physical challenges, relationships. So for me, I see it as kind of related to the word potential, and that's really how I try to approach my therapy work, is that all of my clients have potential. They have the potential to grow and to connect, to find joy. And one specific approach that we learn in music therapy is the Nordoff-Robbins approach, and that is based on the belief that music can reach any human, regardless of any of their limitations, physical or otherwise. So music can be this amazing tool for personal growth that just can go right into you, no matter what experiences you've had before.
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds like they go hand in hand. It's sort of like if you're teaching music, if you're a music therapist, you already have that growth mindset.
Exactly, yeah. We don't necessarily use that language as much in therapy, but it's very much the same idea that we are encouraging our clients to feel like they have power to grow and power to influence their own abilities and lives.
Yeah. And so you would establish a set of therapeutic goals with your clients together and then work towards those goals in a music therapy session. So really holding that belief of, that potential and that progress and checking in. So I think, yeah, it's amazing. I haven't really connected the two ideas in the past, actually. Yeah, for sure. And so you are the owner of the Sing It Girls in Hamilton. And so can you tell everyone about Sing It Girls and how that helps young women with anxiety and how you interweave the growth mindset into some of your sessions?
Yeah, for sure. So Sing It Girls is a program for young women who struggle with anxiety or worries. And like you already said, music really taps into the brain and it really intermingles with our physiology as well. We have music in our bodies, I like to say. Our heartbeats are rhythmic, our breathing is rhythmic. So we can tap into that using our breath and using music, and that can really have an impact on people's level of relaxation and anxiety. So basically, Sing It Girls is a group vocal lesson that interweaves a bunch of different techniques that they can take home to help them learn how to relax and learn how to cope with anxiety and stress.
And so how are you doing the program now that we're not able to sort of sing in groups at this point in time and see each other face to face? So have you adapted Sing It Girls for an online environment to continue to help girls?
Yeah, I was a little nervous about bringing it online because I was worried that we would lose that connection piece. But we are offering it online in different age groups, and it's gotten a really great response. I actually finished a session about a week ago and got some great feedback from the girls that they had met these new friends that they wanted to have for life, and they're just feeling like it's a really safe space for them to connect right now, especially while we're feeling a little bit distanced.
Yeah, it's like a new group of peers, right? Like outside of school, outside of sports, and that kind of thing. So getting together, talking about issues that affect them, I think that that's really critical too. And do you give the girls resources around growth mindset and different tools, specifically to use that language, like the word yet, for example?
Yeah, I love that. I love the idea of we haven't succeeded at this yet, especially with being able to identify your feelings and being able to find that vulnerability. That's the part that really comes through in Sing It Girls and in therapy for me, because that's another part of growth mindset too, that our relationship with ourselves and our relationship with other people can also be kind of expounded upon. You don't just need to say, I'm not good at talking about feelings. You know that you have the power to kind of dive into that, and you can be good at that. So yeah, we were actually doing a little activity with the feelings wheel yesterday, and a lot of them were saying, I've never felt that feeling before. I don't know where that feels in my body. So just practice and being able to understand that you will get there, but it does take practice and the ability to kind of understand that you can grow.
Mm-hmm. It's huge. It's
Yeah.
huge for all of us, and it's never too late to sort of look, and there's tons of resources online. If you just Google growth mindset, there's books and journals and sayings and videos and resources. So that's awesome. Well, thanks for all the work that you do with all the girls and all your therapy clients. I know you make a big impact in their lives. So thank you so much for being here today, Avalon. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you, Kathy.
A big thank you to all of my guests today. I learned a lot about the power of growth mindset and how we can use different language and tools to support our kids. At Beyond the Classroom Tutoring, all of our tutors do have that growth mindset lens, and they work one-on-one with kids to support them in learning in a way that matters to them. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.